I don't promote based upon how long someone sat in a chair. I don't promote based upon, oh, somebody's been here a long time and they're waiting for that job. I give people the autonomy of the time and that they need to have to do what they need to do. I stay out of their business. I provide support for them and protection. My job is to work with the governing board, to share with the governing board the great things that we're doing at these various sites, and to allow them to do it themselves and to come up with ideas that they know would work better that a lot of people would stifle. They'd say, oh, that's not the way I want to do it. Well, that's kind of a good thing with me because I certainly have an open mind towards it. I'm not the expert in that a lot of these young folks are. They're the expert, and a lot of these folks in my district went through this school system here, were born and raised here, went through the system here, could see the things that they didn't want to repeat, could see the things that they wouldn't want for these kids that they're servicing now. These were just filthy, terrible facilities. You wouldn't want to be in them as a student. The air conditioning was terrible. The bathrooms were filthy. The ground was covered with gum. Everything was graffitied. It was terrible. It was a dump. No better way to put it. And these people in this community deserve far better than that. But the people that were in leadership positions were not delivering that. That was acceptable. That's just the way it is. And yeah, they're going to tear up the schools. We haven't found that at all. We've passed 2 school bonds here with the 70-some% majority from the community. Every dollar that they put in out of their own pockets, we've doubled with another dollar from the state. That's unheard of in a school district. Also, federal money, that's unheard of. You walk out in the parking lot, you see solar covered parking structures. That was a $25 million federal grant, QZAB grant. The stuff is out there. People just don't go for it because a lot of people just have a lot of excuses why not to go for it. But you know, 75% of the district's utility bill is covered by those solar covered parking structures. So as we went through the worst time since the Great Depression in this recession in the last 4 or 5 years, every bit of that helped. The principals became the presenters. What did they need? That's what we keyed those on. And we would have an operational meeting once in a while, maybe prior to the start of school, just to give them all their stuff, their packets of teacher evaluations, everything else. But we turned operational meetings, top-down type meetings, to where the principals were actually doing the presenting and doing the work themselves for items that they considered of relevance to them. I know an awful lot of people that would take paychecks out of here and say to me, well, Mark, yeah, you don't know anything about these kids. There's nothing you're going to do about them. They're going to go to school. They're going to get a girlfriend. She's going to get pregnant. She's going to go home and have a baby. That guy's not going to graduate from high school. And the X by years, they'll be sending another group of kids through this district to do the same thing. So an atmosphere of failure. And I mean from the highest levels of management right on down to the ground. It really makes good common sense. It's not too technical, it's just very sensible and it's very relevant to the times that we live in because it really, really, really has a big door open for the change component, which a lot of these other strategic planning vehicles do not have. I would say bonds between the two of them, a little close to $120 million. Another 120 million in state matching funds, probably another 40 million, maybe 30 million in federal money. So you're looking at close to, 350 million dollars probably total district wide. I want to hold the high ground and I don't want this to affect the schools. I want to maintain class size reduction K3. I want to maintain reasonable class sizes. I want to make sure the teachers feel that they have an advocate here that's not going to do just mass layoffs. I'm not going to do mass layoffs for classified. We did a few retirement incentives and got some folks to go. I don't believe the layoffs work because you have to bring them back and pay them at the same daily rate and everything else. It's kind of just a big expense, and it destroys the morale of a school district. That didn't happen here. It didn't happen. I'm very proud of that. Not because strictly me, but we looked at every way that we spent a dollar and just tried to make sure that we were getting it all back. You can't expect the kids not to feel that they're just coming to a filthy dump, and it's bad enough that they've got a hard enough time. Maybe some, I'd say, great deal of my kids are homeless, so I want them to feel even more comfortable here, or what the conditions are at home and everything else with broken families and what have you. I want them to walk on that campus and feel like they're like a sanctuary. That takes extra work. It takes having somebody acid wash the restrooms once or twice a year, and it takes telling them it's not okay just to spit gum everywhere, and where you can't even tell it's cement, it's all gum. We go through there and wash all the hallways constantly. We make sure it's in tip-top shape. I would put my district up against any in the state. If you look at the Williams data, we have inspections of 100% without one discrepancy at a high school. That's unheard of. People say, what's that got to do with instruction? Has everything to do with instruction. There's people that want to go to college, and we encourage everyone to go. We don't just encourage, we push them. We make everything available for them. We have college fairs. We do everything. But you get a young man, I can think of, there's a senior executive assistant here in the district, and all her son wanted to do was be a great car mechanic. He went to UTI, but yet he went to Bonita High School, and he came out there with straight A's. He was a picture postcard kid to go to, college. Well, he's building race boats, I think, for Halliburton, and he loves it. Well, you can go to work for Penske, and if anyone thinks that these cars are just like grease monkey deal where, the oil comes out and you put a new spark plug in, these cars are more technically savvy. There's there's technology in these cars that wasn't in the space shuttle. I mean, they've got radar in some of these cars now that'll actually slow you down on closure rates so you avoid running into somebody. That's technical work. That's work where somebody can make 60, 70 bucks an hour. Maybe they start at 40. I mean, come on. That's nothing to blink at, and it is a choice. What do people want to do? You look at an LA Unified or something, and you could take half of those people in that district and eliminate their positions on Monday, and the teacher on the classroom wouldn't notice it on Tuesday. It's just a bunch of hooey that they think that they're providing anything at all besides a big staffing allotment. We were at one time staffed, I think the county does analysis on it, 6 or 7% staffing level for management. Right now we're right around 1.9 or 2.0. I think it's the second lowest in the county. And we're still doing everything we were doing before. This financial meltdown was good. And I told Carol Liu, because she came and visited us, and this is not even her Senate district, and she says, Mark, they're wanting to give you guys this local control funding, which is going to bring an awful lot of money to you. And she says, and if you look at the Education Trust West report, it says that you don't need it. And I said, that's true. We've done it without that additional money. What scares me is where you turn it over to, I don't know, Oakland, LA Unified, go on down the list with these people, and they're not going to provide anything any different. They're going to spend the money. And I don't believe there'll be a result out of it, anything grandiose. And I don't believe the state's evaluation process to that extra money is on a short enough scale. It's too far out before there's any type of we're taking it back. Typical thinking and strategic planning was you write this strategic plan and then everybody says, oh, it's perfect, and you put it on the shelf behind your desk. I would argue that unless it has a change component, that the day you put it behind your desk, it's irrelevant. In this environment, look at the technology explosion. that your typical strategic planning does not deal with. We take it out to 2025 because we're considering the kindergartners, our first clients. Where are they going to be when they get to the end of the road? How are we going to adapt to that? And the key word on that is adapt. It's not even going to be the same. You and I talking here next year. It's not going to be the same 6 months from now. So it's a really great document, and evaluations are tied to that. My evaluations, my people's evaluations that work under me, my cabinet level folks. Anything that goes on at the school site is tied to that, and how it integrates now with the new Common Core coming on, because it has the component that allows for significant changes. If you're not willing to let the people go, then you're just not going to get much change. You're going to have the status quo, and you're going to have roadblocks. And I don't know how many roadblocks you can stand to put on the road with telling people that you need to get down to the other end. And you do it to yourself by indecisiveness. And believe me, I got attacked left and right. There were people that were principals here that believed that they were connected to the board members and all these other things. So it was very uneasy to do, not easy to do, but the right thing to do. What's the difference between a kid that leaves my school district with a high school degree with no relevancy as to a dropout? There's no difference. If that kid gets a high school diploma, and then it's not based upon how hard they had to work for it, or what how well everything was done by the teaching staff and everything else, then the kid's going to go nowhere. A kid hopefully will do a few things, but has to play catch up in college or whatever else. So it's our job to get them ready to get out of here. I think we can do it better. I think we should, and I think we will. And the future will be good for this district. I think they've got some really good bedrock in place, and a lot of young folks that grew up here that are ready to do a heck of a lot better job than I did. I think the district is going to do nothing but great things, with or without me or anyone else. I think that they've got some challenges ahead. We all do with the Common Core, because people are going to look at it and say, well, you've gone down, you've gone down, you've gone down. Well, you're changing the game. So there's no way to say that, yeah, you're going to abandon one plan and go for a new one. There's going to be a difference.